Frost stepped off the transport ramp with a nervous breath, feeling the metal floor vibrate under his boots. The embassy ship was the most beautiful vessel he had ever seen. Every wall glowed softly, like moonlight trapped inside crystal. The air smelled faintly sweet, carrying a warmth that felt almost alive. His heartbeat picked up as he followed the escort down a long corridor lined with violet light. He was only 26, completely inexperienced in diplomacy, and definitely not prepared for what this mission would demand of him. The escort stopped at a tall door carved with flowing patterns. "The guardian daughter will meet you now," he said. Nodded even though his throat was tight. The door slid open, releasing a soft gust of warm air. He stepped inside and then stopped, unable to move for a moment. She was there. The alien woman stood at the center of the chamber, her presence brighter than any star he had ever seen. Her skin shimmered with a silver glow, like a calm ocean reflecting moonlight. Her hair floated gently behind her as if carried by a breeze no one else could feel. Her eyes were large, luminous, and filled with a depth that made feel like she could see straight into the center of his mind. Her name, he had been told, was Guardian Daughter of the symbol of her people's harmony and inner strength. When she turned to face him, the glow around her brightened in a slow pulse. She stepped forward with smooth, graceful movements that felt almost unreal, felt his breath catch in his chest. Nothing in the training manual had prepared him for a being like her. "You are the human envoy, Frost?" she asked softly. Her voice echoed like a warm breeze passing through crystal. He swallowed. "Yes, I am honored to meet you." Tilted her head slightly, as if examining the sincerity in his tone. "Humans are known for their courage. I hope you carry that with you today." Was supposed to reply with something formal, respectful, diplomatic. He knew the lines. He had practiced them for hours. But standing in front of her, seeing her glow, feeling the gentle warmth of her presence, something inside him broke free. He spoke without thinking, without planning, without filtering. "You're the sexiest being I've ever seen." The words dropped into the room like a heavy stone. And everything stopped. His glow flared bright white, sharp and sudden. Her eyes widened. Her posture froze mid-breath, as if her body didn't know how to react. Even the soft hum of the chamber seemed to falter for a heartbeat. His face burned with shock at his own honesty. I didn't mean to say that out loud. I'm sorry, I really didn't mean." But didn't move. Her expression held surprise but not anger. Instead, there was something fragile in her eyes, something trembling like a candle in wind. "You speak truth," she whispered. Her voice sounded different now, shaken, softer, almost afraid. Nodded helplessly. "I didn't mean disrespect," he said quickly. "It just slipped out. You have this presence, it's powerful, I don't know how else to say it." For a long breath, remained still. Then she slowly lifted a hand to her chest, as if feeling the rise of her own heartbeat beneath the glow. "In my culture," she murmured, "words of admiration spoken without fear are sacred. They are rare, very rare." Didn't understand, but he could see she was struggling to process something intense. "I didn't want to overwhelm you," he said softly. Her glow dimmed to a calmer, softer light. She finally looked up again, but now there was something deeper in her gaze, something warm and fragile. "You have not harmed me," she whispered. "You have awakened something." Stood still, unsure what that meant. But he felt the air shift around them, as if an invisible thread had formed between human and. Something had begun, something neither of them had been prepared for. And both of them knew the universe would not stay quiet about it, felt a strange mix of embarrassment and awe as stood before him, her glow trembling softly. The silence in the chamber lasted long enough for him to feel its weight on his shoulders. He wanted to speak, to fix what he feared he had broken, but every word seemed too small for the moment. Finally stepped back, her movements slow and careful, as if she was trying to protect something delicate inside her. "You must understand," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. Hearts do not react lightly. When we hear pure admiration without fear or hidden intent, our inner light responds. It rises on its own. Watched the glow along her arms brighten slightly, like ripples of silver fire. He had no idea what to say. He had walked onto this ship prepared for debates, formal greetings, and maybe even disagreements, not whatever this was. "I didn't want to cause trouble," he said softly. "Honesty just came out. I'm sorry if it created misunderstanding." Shook her head. "It is not trouble, it is simply unexpected. Humans are known for clever speech, not unfiltered truth." She paused, studying him with an expression that was both warm and unsettled. "Your words held no hesitation. That is rare." Before could respond, the chamber door slid open. Two guards entered, their faces tight with concern. Their armor glowed faintly blue, signaling tension. "Guardian daughter," one said, "the council has been informed of an emotional surge in your light. They request your presence immediately." His glow flickered, saw her shoulders tense, but she nodded. "I understand. Tell them I will arrive soon." The guards bowed and exited quickly. Stepped closer, careful not to cross any boundary he didn't understand. "Did I do something wrong? Is this going to cause you trouble with your people?" Looked down at her hands, then up at him with a conflicted expression. "Tradition values control. Our emotions are kept steady, balanced, quiet. When the guardian daughter, when I experience a surge, the council fears instability. They will want to know why." Felt a cold knot forming in his stomach. "And if you tell them the truth, that I said what I said?" Her lips parted slightly. For a moment she said nothing. The room felt heavier. "If I tell them," she said finally, "they will believe you influenced me. Some may think you tried to disrupt our diplomatic process." His chest tightened. "But I wasn't trying to influence anything. I just told you what I felt. I didn't mean for it to become political." Took a slow breath. Her glow steadied, settling into a calm silver. "I know, but the council listens more to tradition than to hearts." A soft sadness passed through her eyes and felt an unexpected ache in his chest. He didn't know why he cared so much. He had only known her for minutes, yet the thought of causing her trouble felt unbearable. "What are you going to tell them?" he asked quietly. Turned toward the window, where the stars drifted past in slow waves. The reflection of her glow shimmered on the glass. "I will tell them the truth," she said softly, "because lies damage the light within us, and because your honesty deserves the same." Felt warmth rise in his chest at her words. "Won't that make things worse for you?" She turned back to him, her expression calm but determined. "Perhaps, but I cannot hide what I felt. When you spoke, something shifted inside me, something I cannot pretend did not happen." He swallowed hard. "I don't want to be the reason you face consequences." Her eyes softened. "Then stand with me, not as a human envoy, not as a diplomat, but as the one who spoke truth without fear." A gentle heaviness filled the air, a mix of anticipation and uncertainty. "If I stand with you," he asked, "what happens?" Stepped closer, her glow warming the space between them. "Then the council will judge our sincerity, and the storm that follows, we face it together." Felt the full weight of those words. He didn't know what the council would do. He didn't even know what this bond meant. But he saw something in his eyes, something brave, something fragile, and he knew one thing. He couldn't walk away now. Spent the next few hours wandering the corridors of the embassy ship, trying to prepare himself for what he did not fully understand. Every wall shimmered with soft light, reflecting his nervous face back at him. He had expected formal greetings and polite conversation, but not this. Not the weight of someone's entire culture resting on a single word he had spoken. He felt a gentle vibration in the floor, signaling movement above. Then a subtle announcement sounded through the chamber. The council would convene soon. The glow, which had calmed earlier, now pulsed faintly like a heart racing beneath her skin. Tried to remember what she had told him, about honesty, about admiration, about the surge of light inside her. He didn't understand all of it, but he knew one thing. He had to stand with her, no matter what. When they entered the council chamber, a hush fell over the room. The elders, each one radiating their own unique glow, stared at them with expressions that were unreadable. Their light was not just for beauty. It revealed mood, intention, and, most importantly, suspicion. Felt it prickling against him, a subtle but unmistakable weight of judgment. "Guardian daughter," Elder said, his obsidian-colored skin gleaming under the chamber lights. "Explain the rise in your inner light." His voice carried authority and caution. "It has disrupted the harmony of this assembly." Glow shivered and noticed her shoulders stiffen. She took a steady breath before speaking. "It is human words," she said softly, though her voice carried clearly to every corner of the room. "Words of honesty and admiration. He did not intend harm, and yet my light responded." His eyes narrowed. "A human. You allowed a human to disturb your balance. Your role is not merely ceremonial. You are the guardian daughter. Your responsibility extends to all." Swallowed hard. He could feel the elder's suspicion sweeping over him, invisible but intense. He wanted to step forward to defend himself, but he remembered words, stand with her, not as a diplomat but as the one who spoke truth. "I spoke only truth," he said, his voice steady even as his heart thumped like a drum. "I saw her as she is, nothing else. I did not plan to influence anyone or disrupt anything. I only spoke what I felt." The chamber was quiet, tension coiling like a living thing around them. Some of the younger whispered to each other, their glows flickering nervously. Others stared at, their light dim and controlled. Slammed his staff lightly on the floor, creating a resonant tone. "Humans speak carelessly, yet your light has surged in response. Are we to believe this is natural or manipulation?" Looked at, her glow flickering between silver and faint white. She stepped closer to him, her voice soft but firm. "It is not manipulation, it is truth," and his heart matches his words. Felt a surge of warmth at her words. It was not flattery, not political cunning, but something far more powerful, something alive. His gaze was sharp, unyielding. "The council will deliberate. Until then, all are required to maintain their positions. Any further disruptions will be judged harshly." As they were escorted out, whispers trailed them. Some seemed critical, some curious, but all carried a spark of tension. Realized how fragile this balance truly was. One wrong word, one wrong gesture could tip everything into chaos. In the quiet hallway afterwards, glow dimmed to a soft, steady silver. She looked at him with a mixture of relief and worry. "You stood with me," she said quietly. "Even when the council judged us both. That is not something I can forget." Shook his head. "I didn't want to leave you alone, not when so much depends on you." Her hand brushed lightly against his arm, not touching, but close enough for him to feel her warmth. "Then we face whatever comes next together." Nodded, though he did not know the outcome, though the council's judgment still hung above them like a storm cloud. He felt something inside him shift. This was no longer just diplomacy. This was courage, honesty, and trust, the kind that could change worlds. And for the first time, he realized that one moment of truth could ignite something far greater than fear. It could ignite hope. After the council session, the corridors of the embassy ship felt impossibly quiet. Followed through a soft-lit hallway, the glow of her presence brushing against him like a gentle wind. The air smelled faintly of jasmine and rain, something both alien and familiar. He had expected a formal debrief, stiff instructions, or cold looks, but she instead led him toward the gardens. The gardens were a secret within the ship, a place where went to think, meditate, and let their emotions flow safely. Soft bioluminescent plants lined the paths, pulsing in slow rhythms like living hearts. Felt the calm wash over him, yet he remained uneasy. He didn't know what the council would decide, or how would respond if the elders ruled against them. She stopped near a small pond, the water reflecting her glow like liquid silver. She turned to him, eyes wide and thoughtful. "You do not understand what your words caused," she said softly, almost to herself. "The council will see this as disruption, a potential threat, but the truth cannot be hidden." Swallowed, "I didn't mean to disrupt anything. I only told you what I felt, that's all." Her lips curved into a faint smile, though worry lingered in her eyes. "It is not the same for us. Words carry weight far more than here. They ripple through our hearts, touch the minds of those around us. When you spoke, my light responded before I could control it. It rose too high, too fast. The elders will question why." He took a step closer, unsure how much he could do to help. "Then I'll stand with you. Whatever they decide, I'll be honest. I'll show them that I meant nothing but truth." She looked at him, and for a moment the glow around her dimmed in surprise. "You would do that? Risk judgment for my sake?" He nodded firmly. "I already said the words. I can't take them back, and I won't, but I can face what comes next together." For a long moment, silence filled the garden. The plants pulsed slowly. The water mirrored the faint glimmers of stars through the glass dome above, and felt the air thicken with anticipation. Finally spoke. "Your honesty, it is rare among humans, but your courage, that is something I have never seen." She paused, looking down at the water. "It frightens me, and yet it comforts me. I do not know how to reconcile both feelings at once." Hesitated. He wanted to reach for her hand to show that he was there. But he remembered the distance respected by her kind, the sacred space always kept between themselves and others. He simply nodded. "You do not need to touch," she said quietly, almost reading his thoughts. "Your presence is enough." The garden felt smaller suddenly, more intimate. Heart raced as he realized how much he wanted to ease her burden, how deeply he wanted her to trust him. "Then I'll stay," he said softly. "No matter what the council says, no matter what happens next, I'll be here." Her glow softened, pulsing gently against his chest as if it recognized his promise. "Then I will not face it alone," she whispered. "I will not face the council alone." They stood together in silence, two beings from different worlds, yet connected by honesty and trust. The galaxy outside might judge, the council might oppose, and the future might remain uncertain. But in this small sanctuary, they found a moment of truth neither could deny. His eyes, reflective like liquid silver, held his gaze for a long beat. "We must prepare," she said finally. "The council will not be gentle, and the trial will test more than words. It will test our hearts." Nodded. "Then we'll face it together. Whatever comes, I promise." Her glow pulsed brighter, steadier now, almost as if the plants themselves recognized their unity. In that quiet garden before the storm of the council trial, a bond formed, a fragile, shining bond of courage, honesty, and trust that neither politics nor fear could easily break. And for the first time felt that telling the truth had the power to change more than a moment. It could change worlds. The chamber felt colder than the gardens, though the glow of the elders bathed everything in a soft, almost unnatural light. Followed's calm steps, but inside his chest felt tight. He had never seen such authority, such power, concentrated in one room. Each elder's glow shifted subtly, signaling thoughts and moods he could not fully read. The air was thick with expectation, and whispers ran like currents through the chamber. Elder stood at the center, his dark skin shining under the lights, his staff clutched tightly in one hand. His eyes were sharp, assessing, and filled with authority. "Guardian daughter," he began, his voice echoing across the chamber. "Your light surged in response to a human's words. Explain this. Why has your balance been disrupted?" His glow flickered, a trembling silver that showed a mix of fear and resolve. She stepped forward, her posture steady despite the intensity around her. "It was truth," she said softly. "The human spoke honestly, without fear or deceit. My light responded because it recognized sincerity, not because I was manipulated." A murmur ran through the chamber. Some elders leaned forward, their expressions cautious. Others crossed their arms, their glows dimming as if showing disapproval. Felt the weight of their judgment pressing against him, and for a moment he wondered if he had made a terrible mistake. Elder's voice sharpened. You allowed an outsider to affect the heart of the guardian daughter. This could have destabilized not only the embassy but our relations with other civilizations. How can we trust such influence? Swallowed hard. His instinct was to speak formally, to explain himself in careful, diplomatic terms. But he remembered what had said in the garden. Stand with her, not as a diplomat, but as the one who spoke truth. He took a deep breath and stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. I did not seek to influence anyone. I did not plan for this to happen. I only spoke the truth about what I saw nothing more. I did not try to manipulate, I did not try to impress. I only told what I felt. The chamber went quiet. Some of the elders tilted their heads, surprised by the human's courage. A few younger whispered among themselves, their glows flickering nervously. Elder slammed his staff against the floor, the sound echoing through the room. Humans speak carelessly, yet your presence has caused this reaction. How do we know this is not dangerous? How do we know the truth is not a mask? His glow flared brighter, steadier now, as if fueled by his words. She took a step closer to him, the space between them charged with unspoken understanding. It is not a mask, she said firmly. I have known many words, many promises, and many false hearts. His words touched something real inside me. His truth cannot be. Felt his heart pound as the elders shifted, some leaning forward, some murmuring softly. The tension was thick enough to cut, yet he held his ground. If truth is dangerous, he said, then I will accept the consequences. But I do not regret speaking it. Not for her, not for me, and not for the balance you fear. I only see her for who she truly is. The chamber was silent for several long moments. Then, slowly, Elder lowered his staff, his expression softening slightly. The field of the council will judge your sincerity, he said. If deception is found in either of your hearts, the consequences will be severe. Turn to her glow now calm and reassuring. We must remain honest, she said quietly. We must show them that our hearts are true, no matter what happens. Nodded, then we face it together, he whispered. Outside the chamber, the whispers of officials followed them. Some were skeptical, some hopeful, but one thing was clear. The moment of truth was coming. The council would not merely judge words, they would test hearts, emotions, and trust. And in that silence, realized something profound. One honest sentence, spoken without fear, had already begun to change the course of events. He looked at her steady silver glow shining like a beacon, and knew that whatever the council decided, he could not walk away. He would stand with her, and they would face the storm together. Because sometimes, the bravest act in the universe is simply telling the truth. The council chamber had transformed. A circular field of pale silver light spread across the floor, swirling like liquid energy. It was the trial of hearts, a test that they used to measure the truth and sincerity of emotions, and stood on separate platforms at its center, the air between them vibrating faintly with anticipation. Every elder surrounded them, their glows steady and expectant, waiting for the judgment to begin. Felt a shiver run down his spine. He had read about the trial, studied its rules, and seen holograms of past events, but nothing could prepare him for the reality. It was not a test of knowledge, not of combat, not even of diplomacy. It was a test of truth, courage, and emotion, reflected in the glow that would rise or fall with every heartbeat. Silver light shimmered, brighter than he had ever seen. Her hands were folded gently in front of her, but her shoulders quivered slightly. She glanced at him, and for the first time saw uncertainty flicker across her composed face. "We must speak our hearts," she whispered, without fear, without hesitation. Nodded though his own heart raced. "I am ready," he said softly. "We'll face this together." The head elder raised his staff. "Begin," he commanded. The field between them pulsed in response, a living reflection of the tension in the room. Stepped forward first. "I admire his honesty," she said clearly, her voice echoing with quiet strength. "He speaks without cunning, without artifice. His words reach my heart and my light responds to the truth within them. Nothing else could make it glow so freely. His breath caught. Her words felt like sunlight on frozen ground, warming him from the inside. He stepped forward, looking directly at her. "I speak truth," he said, voice steady despite the trembling in his chest. "I admire her, not for her glow, not for her power, but for her courage, her heart, and the way she listens. I do not hide, I do not fear, I only speak honestly." The silver field flared, responding to his words. Its edges shimmered and danced, a living reflection of sincerity. He felt a warmth spreading through his chest, a strange connection to that was neither alien nor human. It was something between, something shared. The council watched silently, but could feel their scrutiny in every pulse of the light. A misstep, a false word, and the field could collapse. But something in his honesty steadied him, a quiet certainty that he had never felt before. His glow brightened in response to his sincerity. "I trust him," she said softly, "and in trusting I am honest. I feel the truth of his words in every part of me. Our hearts do not lie, they only speak." The field surged, brighter now than ever before. The elders leaned forward, their glow flickering in surprise. The energy pulsed like a heartbeat, almost overwhelming the room. Felt fear, yes, but it was tempered by a deep connection he could not ignore. He looked at, and she met his gaze with steady silver eyes full of trust and courage. After a tense moment, the head elder lowered his staff slowly. "The trial judges sincerity," he said quietly. "No deception is found. Your words are true, your hearts aligned. The council recognizes your honesty." Relief washed over the chamber like gentle rain. His chest felt lighter, though he could still feel the echoes of tension in the glowing field. Stepped closer, her glow soft but steady now. "You did not falter," she said softly, her hand hovering near his arm. "Even when the trial demanded everything, you were true." Smiled, the tension melting from his shoulders. "We faced it together," he said simply. Her silver light pulsed gently, warmer now, as if acknowledging the bond that had formed between them. For a moment, there was only the quiet hum of the chamber and the shared pulse of their sincerity. In that space, nothing else existed, neither judgment, fear, nor distance. Only truth and the courage it had sparked in both of them. Outside the chamber, whispers would spread, stories of a human and the guardian daughter who had faced the trial of hearts together. But in that moment, all that mattered was the quiet understanding between them. Honesty had conquered doubt, trust had overcome fear, and two hearts, different as they were, had found harmony in the galaxy. The chamber doors opened, and the hum of the embassy ship returned to its usual rhythm. Followed out into the wide corridors, feeling a strange weight lifted from his chest. The trial of hearts was over. The council had acknowledged their honesty. But more than that, something deeper had shifted between them, something neither protocol nor tradition could define. The soft violet light of the hall reflected in silver glow. She walked with her usual grace, but her steps were lighter, freer than before. Matched her pace, noticing how even small movements of hers seemed to ripple through the air like a delicate tide. He felt the warmth of her presence, not as pressure, not as expectation, but as something quietly comforting. "You were amazing," he said softly, unable to help himself. "I've never seen anyone so calm, so strong, even in front of all those eyes." Turned toward him, her eyes reflecting a glimmer of amusement mixed with relief. "You speak too freely," she said, though her lips curved into a small, genuine smile. "And yet I appreciate it. You have courage, and not only in words. You faced the trial and you did not falter." Shook his head, feeling a blush rising. "I was afraid, I still am. But seeing you, knowing you trusted me, even for a moment, it gave me the strength to keep standing." Her glow brightened slightly, soft and steady, and she extended her hand, brushing it lightly against his. The touch was gentle, a spark of connection that spoke more than words ever could. "Trust," she said quietly, "is not given lightly. You have earned it." They walked through the gardens once more, where the bioluminescent plants pulsed in rhythm with the stars outside. It felt like a small sanctuary, a secret held just for them. The weight of politics and protocol seemed distant, insignificant compared to the truth they had shared. "I never expected this," admitted, gazing at the reflection of her glow in the water. "I thought I'd be here to negotiate, to report, maybe even argue with your people. I never thought I'd," he hesitated, "feel this way, stand with someone like you, and have it matter so much." Silver eyes softened, her glow shimmering like calm waves. "Humans are unpredictable yet honest. That is why your words struck me. Your heart did not hide behind fear or ceremony. It spoke plainly and it could not be ignored. That is why we passed the trial." He swallowed, feeling the truth in her words settle deep inside him. "Then we succeeded," he said quietly, "because we were honest, not just with them but with each other." Her lips curved into a tender smile. "Yes, and honesty is stronger than any law, any tradition. It changes things in ways even the council cannot always predict." They paused near the edge of the garden, the soft light reflecting their forms in the still water. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the glass, and felt a sense of infinite possibility. In that moment, he realized that their bond was more than admiration or courage. It was recognition of truth, trust, and the strength to face fear together. "I don't know what comes next," he admitted, "with your people or with the galaxy, but I know I want to face it with you." Glow pulsed warmly. "Then we will," she said, her voice calm but filled with quiet determination. "We will face it together as equals, as truth-bearers, and nothing, no doubt, no fear can undo that." Reached out, this time letting his hand rest lightly in hers. The warmth of her glow met his touch, steady, reassuring, and alive. He felt something shift inside him, a certainty he had never known. This was not just victory in the council's eyes. This was the victory of honesty, of courage, and of hearts unafraid to be seen. As they walked back toward the embassy, the stars outside seemed to shine brighter, reflecting in the silver glow that now surrounded them both. The universe was vast, unpredictable, and sometimes frightening, but in that moment understood something profound. Truth and trust were forces stronger than fear, stronger than distance, and far more powerful than any rule or law. And as he looked at, standing tall and luminous, he knew that together they could face anything the galaxy had to offer. The trial of hearts had ended, but for them, a new journey, brighter, braver, and filled with honest light, was only just beginning.